during combat operations in Iraq on June 4th, 2006. In dedicating this bridge, we are establishing a fitting monument within our town so that future generations will always be aware that we are a nation with many heroes who have earned the right to be eternally remembered and their sacrifice fully appreciated. We have a full list of introductions and speakers who will speak eloquently about Sergeant Gionet and his character and his sacrifice. So I'll limit my remarks. I'll offer you the following poetic reflection as we now proceed to the program. This is a poem by Major Michael Davis O'Connell, written on 1 January 1970 at Dak To, Vietnam. It's called Remember Them. If you are able, save for them a place inside of you and one backward glance when you are leaving for the places that they can no longer go. Be not ashamed to say you love them, though you may or may not always have. Take what they have left and what they have taught you with their dying and keep it as your own. And in that time, when men decide and feel safe to call the war insane, take one moment to embrace those gentle heroes you left behind. With that, I will now proceed to the introduction of our invited guests. On my right, I have the Honorable U.S. Congresswoman Annie Custer. I have the Honorable U.S. Senator Jean Shaheen, Special Assistant to Constituent Services, Kara Osborne. We have the Honorable U.S. Senator Kelly Ott, State Representative Senator of Fish, Morse. We have Honorable State 37 District Representatives Patrick Culbert, Mary Ann Knowles, and her husband John, who is a former.
She asked me to read this letter on her behalf. Dear friends, today's dedication ceremony presents an opportunity to honor the service and sacrifice of Army Sergeant Daniel Gionet. I'm sorry I am unable to attend this solemn event, but I want to send my heartfelt gratitude to the family of the fallen soldier gathered here today. Sergeant Gionet answered his country's call to service, and his actions in defense and support of his fellow countrymen and women are an inspiration to us all. While words may never ease the burden of his loss, I hope the family and friends of Sergeant Gionet find comfort in this symbol of the community's appreciation, and I hope the thousands who will cross the bridge understand the meaning of this Army medic who paid the ultimate price in service to the nation. To the family of Sergeant Gionet, we are forever indebted to you for the service and sacrifice of your son. It is our duty as citizens to honor and remember those who lost their lives while wearing the uniform of the United States. Please know that the thoughts and prayers of New Hampshire and a grateful nation are with you today and always. Sincerely, Jean Shaheen, the United States Senator. Thank you.
My family and his community were actually neighbors who lived a few houses away from the Gionet family. When I first met my wife Rita and subsequently moved to Pelham a couple of years later, we didn't know Denise or her children, but our kids of varying ages knew each other from riding the school bus or being at school, or knew each other through each other's siblings. In school, Dan was ahead of my son James, who was ahead of Dan's sister Alicia. My oldest stepdaughter, Abby Blaze, knew Dan, Alicia through James, and Dan's brother Darren. And really, as a side note, because of their friendship, I had this huge lizard living in my home for the past few years. So we've come to know the Gionets a little bit. Ironically, my son James serves in the United States Marine Corps. Alicia serves in the United States Naval Aviation Component, and both of them are currently deployed. And I'm sure that in part, Dan's inspiration is the reason they serve today. Myself, I served for 20 years in the U.S. Navy's Aviation Component, and while on active duty at 2 short duty commands, I was the leader of those command honor guards. And while parades and celebrations of color guard details are great for celebrating patriotism, rendering honors and honor guard ceremonies are some of my most heartfelt memories of my service. And you really do look at things through a different lens while you're on active duty or a career military person. For reasons I can't explain, you just don't run out and join a veterans service organization. And maybe that's because you move so often, you seldom connect with the community you finally call it home. When I moved to Pelham, where townies do exist, I would tell people, I'm a townie, I'm just from a different town. And it's a town that I've always considered very patriotic. I was already a life member, and I wrote that down. Because I don't know how I let the day of Dan's funeral slip my mind. An event that had been ingrained in me for so many years growing up in that patriotic town, and of course being a lead of two honor guards. But there I was out in my front yard, working hard on a day just like today, sweat pouring off of me, when I peered up and I saw the Pelham police cruiser slowly rolling by with lights flashing. Literally in that instance, I knew there was only reason that cruiser was rolling by, and it was leading Dan's funeral procession. And in that instant, I remembered, oh no, I'm not there for him. To render honor. So, I ran to the end of my driveway. Actually, I used the word bolted, which is aircraft carrier terminology. So I run to the end of my driveway, snap to attention, and hold my salute till the very last car passed. Tears were rolling down my face. Car after car filled with mourners passed by. Some beeped their horns, some waved, some pointed, some gave me thumbs up. Those were very emotional minutes for me. Rendering honors is not something done in a fleeting thought. It is something that comes from the heart. It is built from understanding what comradeship is and where it comes from. In the military, it's learning those life lessons side by side with your buddies and knowing what sacrifice can be and what it really is. It was Dan's sacrifice that reminded me of my open service to our country, and that is what further inspired me to get involved in the active community that I was now calling home. I re-engaged and became an active and committed member of the Gionet Charters Memorial VFW Post 10722, and of course I also joined my American Legion brothers as well, and I have